Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone in the front row. Thank you. Welcome to the OTRA Awards, our inaugural. I've got people laughing all over the sides. Okay, I'm not here to do stand-up, but welcome to the first ever OTRA Awards. I'm Steve. Let's welcome in my lovely co-hosts from both sides. That's your cue to walk in. Now we're doing comedy. Key will be in some stage.
Hey. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello, I know I look different. Wearing my glasses. I gotta be able to see y'all like y'all see me.
But thank y'all for joining us. We're trying something new here. It may completely do well. It may completely flop. I have no idea. But we put a ton of work into this. A lot of other people outside of our organization are involved in this. We're going to get a chance to introduce them all here shortly, but I think we had a ton of fun putting this together to round out our wrestling year of 2022, a year that in wrestling world was great, but I would argue in our personal lives is one I think we're about ready to kick out the door.
I'm ready to drop kick it and punch it to the moon.
Kick rocks.
But hey, that's one of the joys of a new year and a chance to get a new start, and but in order to do that, you do have to recap what we've done this year. So we've prepared a wonderful award show. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and a chance to let some other folks get involved here. So we're going to go ahead and move in here. I'm trying to figure out what you're laughing at.
I love the relevancy of all the ugly sweaters. Head of the table, Tribal Chief. The EST, Bianca Belair. And then the man, Becky Lynch. It clearly says it.
The man worn by the man. I mean, come on. Of course it's going to be how it's going to be, right?
Okay.
But to give you an idea, just so everyone can kind of step out of the way or sit down or whatever they want to do, this was our OTRA Awards, and essentially this is about all the stuff that happened in WWE and NXT over the last calendar year. Voting took place officially through our community page as well as from our esteemed voting panel. From the 17th until the 26th of December after deciding categories. We had an 8-person voting panel of us 3, as well as 5 other distinguished other social media influencers. We'll be introducing them shortly to allow them to get their credit and to be a part of all of this. I do want to go back by one slide real quick, though, and give a shout out here. First of all, to Kelly Smith on Twitter. I'm going to put her handle in the description down below. She's the person who does all of ours, and she did this one for us as a Christmas gift early. Once again, fantastic work. If you notice, kind of using our normal on the ring apron logo background while also incorporating the awards logo around it. So Kelly, a special shout out to you for taking the time to throw this together for us. We very much appreciate it.
It looks wonderful.
It absolutely
Excellent.
does. So she continues to do wonderful work. If you need a logo or really anything made, she's absolutely your go-to. But an opportunity first to see all the different awards that we're going to get a chance to show off here. WWE Superstar of the Year, male, female overall. Same thing with NXT, male, female overall. And then we've got other categories like Tag Team Faction, Betrayal, Rookie, Match of the Year, Face and Heel, Breakout, the debut return in some special category we're calling the Oh Wow Moment of the Year. That was the one that just got you out of your seat and, really got you saying, oh, wow, whether it was for, a huge surprise or, oh, wow, he really said that, however you want to look at it. But before we get started, with our first award of the night, I want to make sure we give a special shout out to our esteemed panel here. And each one of these folks are social media influencers of their own. Just going to kind of start from the left here and work our way over. All of these are their Twitter handles, but they exist all across social media. So they're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. We've got Tantalizing Tony, member of the Mania Club. Does fantastic work. You can see him doing hype shows outside of all of the events. Fantastic work. He does playthroughs or watch-throughs during premium live events that he can't attend in person. Funny guy, great guy, a dude you'll definitely take to the club with you if somebody owes you money. So he's a wonderful person to handle. We've got Mr. Warren Hayes, has his own podcast. Again, great wrestling guy. He's been featured in multiple magazines. His take is definitely one that is well respected in the wrestling community. He was the guy I wasn't sure was gonna say yes to this when kind of going through all the names, but he stepped in and like, absolutely, I'm in. Let's do this. So hopefully, the beginning of a very budding friendship, as well as getting a chance to have your influence be heard on another set of ears, another set of voices. Probably one of our greatest pickups of all of this was both of those wrestling girls. That's Queen Patricia and Krista B. We actually were able to get both of them for this particular event, and I'm blocking the screen here, so I'm going to move back just a little bit. But we were able to get both of them. Patricia, we hope you're feeling better. I know you said you're feeling a little under the weather, but hopefully, you're doing well as you get ready for the new year. So we got both of them. They will be voting as a group, so both of them talked it over, put in their singular votes, so they'll be represented by this logo here. We also elected that each year for this show we're going to do what we're going to call an honorary OTRA. Not an OOS, but an OTRA. And it's someone from our following that we feel made a difference in our lives just by simply being there, being a part of all of this, and really helping to make our show what it is. This year it goes to Paige James 98. For anybody who watches our playthroughs, she was the one that attended on our behalf the event Clash at the Castle at Cardiff, seeing two of our Match of the Year candidates at that same event. A little bit of a spoiler there, but did either of them win? We'll find out.
Stay tuned.
Exactly. And then, of course, you have myself, Kia, and Alyssa, the OTRA crew over there with our smiling faces. And then the last member was you, our OTRA universe. We had a community page for 10 days, let you guys throw in your 2 cents, let you throw in your votes. And the most popular vote represented the On the Ring Aprons community in terms of, how you guys wanted to see these votes go. There are a lot that you guys went with some of the other members of our esteemed panel. There are others that you guys went completely off on your own, but it made a difference and your vote counted the same as everyone else's. So we're excited to be a part of this. I've been chatting for a little bit, so we've got a couple of minutes before we unveil our first award. So Kia and Alyssa, if you got anything you want to add on any of this, please, by all means, take the wheel.
I can already say I'm excited. This is our first go-around, and I believe it will go very well. Honestly, I've met literally everyone except for Mr. Hay, so hopefully in the future we get to meet you, see you, and actually hang out with you at a wrestling event, live event, house show, PLE, excuse me. So with that being said, I'm just excited that we have this entire panel. We've met those wrestling girls, very nice. Paige was very sweet, and the thing is, we met all three of them at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Tantalizing Pony, we actually met him through Mania Club, and he's been great.
We've run into him more times than I
Yeah.
can count.
Yeah, we
But
have.
it's hard not to run into him.
I mean, he's a really good guy.
So,
Funny, but, still good.
Alyssa, your thoughts before we get started?
I just want to point out that for me and Kia, this will be our first time seeing this too. So these reactions will be.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that is true. The only person who knows the results of all of the votes is me. And that's because we don't have an editor. If somebody would like the job, get some extra volunteer work, hey, seriously, send me a DM. I'm sick of doing this. That is the hard part of all of this. I love doing this part. I hate doing the editing in the background, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on you to edit a video together. Like me, the first year we did our whole year, and
I'm
then Alyssa.
not sure we have a video that goes by where you don't remind me of that.
Oh yeah.
I don't get paid for this. Not for that portion anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that being the case, let's take our seats. We have little chairs. I know you can't see them, and we are gonna turn the lights out, so we're gonna kind of disappear here into the background.
I'm dark.
But we want you guys to be able to have a clear-cut view of our board behind us, so that way you can be able to see it. So here we go, and let's move into our first event because, of course, we did promise that we'd have this done before SmackDown because I'm excited to see what happens tonight too. So let's move into our first event. We do have a little 5-minute countdown up in the corner to help keep us on time. But we're going to begin with the WWE and NXT Rookie of the Year, which is anyone that is in its first full calendar year with the company. Now through each of these, we went through a number of different people. Obviously, our lists were a lot longer than this, but we compiled it down to 5 individuals at the end. And you'll see that a majority of them came from the women's division, most of them also from NXT. But our 5 representatives this year, before we announce the winner in about 4.5 minutes, Cora Jade, Nikita Lyons, and Roxanne Perez from NXT. And then Logan Paul from Monday Night Raw. And we also, after discussing it with ourselves, with our panel, and with the OTRAs, we went with Samantha Irving as the 5th person, who is the first-year SmackDown announcer.
Yes.
We felt that, she been involved in multiple storylines. I will say she's probably the long shot to win this, but you never know. But she does make our panel. We've got 4 minutes to discuss before our winner is announced. Ladies, your thoughts on all of these years and where you think this is going to go? Obviously, our votes will be shown shortly.
Literally all 5 have had an impact on our year, some more than others, and that's not a shot at anybody. First of all, to all of the women across the board, Cora Jade, Nikita Lyons, Roxanne Perez, Samantha Irving, they have literally, again, for me, have shattered the glass ceiling for women coming in and doing stuff that, they're not expected to do.
At such a young age, too.
Really, a lot of them are very much young. I'm excited. I don't know who the pick is going to be, but I can tell you, for me, I feel like a lot of them could have taken the cake, and that's not because I'm hungry. Go ahead.
Cake. Alyssa?
Cake. I think a lot of, and I'm not even gonna say a lot of, but like 2 of them stood out to me this year. 2 of them were the reason I started liking NXT. So like people like Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, they brought me in. Their storytelling was good.
So give Shawn Michaels and them credit down there in NXT for again taking young ladies that are just remarkably young. Roxanne's 21,
Well,
just turned 22.
Yeah.
They're younger than all of us, and yet they've put the title on Roxanne already.
Love it.
Regardless of the
Love her.
circumstances of how she got it and everything in the background. I think you're living under a rock if you don't know. But at the end of the day, you're looking at the perspective that you want to, you want to show up and you want to show out, because NXT is where it all begins.
I feel like for me, and to kind of add on to what Alyssa said, Cora and Roxanne have kind of drawn us in. You have to think they were best friends when they started, and then they went from best friends to enemies, and then they went to frenemies, and you have to think Roxanne had been tormented by Cora, who at that point turned on her, and it went nuts after that. But you have to think about her driving force, her fire, the thing that lit a fuse up under her was her ex-best friend, frenemy, who said, oh, I'm going to get this or that before you, and that just kind of drove her to what she has now. Congratulations, Roxanne.
Now you look at the other people on the panel. As I said, we've talked about Samantha. I think she's the dark horse to win this, but definitely has a very long future in front of her. But then you look at the other 2. You look at Nikita Lyons, and then you look at Logan Paul. Paul only had 3 matches this year.
Really,
But he stood out in all of those matches. Absolutely. Teaming well with an established 15-plus year veteran of The Miz, first ballot Hall of Famer, and then going toe-to-toe in front of 70,000 with the Tribal Chief. He showed out. He did not embarrass himself, and that's always been the one thing about celebrities. We got a minute to go. That if you take it seriously, I'm going to give you every benefit if you show me that you're serious about it.
And he's not the first celebrity. I would have to say Shayna, Rhonda. Honestly, the one that I give it up for, Bad Bunny came in and handled his business, and Logan Paul is right up there and a close second.
Bad Bunny crawls so Logan Paul could run.
There you go.
And Logan Paul, has every indication of being a guy, because he went out, he got injured in the match with Roman Reigns and still continued to wrestle. Of course, the infamous, TikTok viral video of him hitting the frog splash on Roman Reigns. All he does is he brings eyes to WWE.
And that's a good thing.
You look at this entire panel as we've got 15 seconds till the winner shows. I could argue any of them could, be deserving. There are going to be some categories we're going to run into where just, there's going to be one that's going to kind of stand out from the rest.
Oh, wow.
But with that being the case, we hit the end of the countdown here, so let's find out. The OTRA Award for the WWE NXT Rookie of the Year is Logan Paul.
I'm not gonna say I'm a hater.
All right, we see you.
And he was the only male.
The only male.
Up there. Good job, Mr. Logan Paul.
You get it.
Representing the male population, I suppose. After the award is announced, we do obviously show where our votes come from. You can see that actually everybody that is not sitting in front of this camera voted for Logan Paul, including the OTRAs. I think the OTRAs, it was like 78%. I mean, it was a runaway. But Kia and I both went with Cora Jade. You know, I thought she was well established. Multiple great matches with Mandy Rose. Alyssa went with Roxanne Perez. You know, hey, she's the one holding the gold at the end.
Exactly.
You know, but it does look like our paneling group, you know, looks like majority went with that one. And, you know, and again, that's the whole reason because, you know, that's the reason we have a voting panel here is so that way it's not just our opinion.
Yeah.
Let's get multiple opinions, multiple different, you know, backgrounds and everything else to find out who wins it. But congratulations to Logan Paul.
Yes, sir.
Not only does he get the award for Rookie of the Year, he gets the very first OTRA award. So we'll put a little bulletin out there for him. So congratulations. Hey, keep doing well. Can't wait for you to get back. Hopefully at Mania we'll be there, especially with it being in LA. Let's move to our second award, which is the Baby Face of the Year. Of course, you know, as it goes. Let me start the clock here.
Let's say timer.
So again, the Baby Face of the Year is the favorite good guy or good gal in this instance. And as you can see, a nice little entry here of WWE and also a member of NXT down on the end. But you have the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, as well as the NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez, in her second nomination already.
There we go.
Also add in Liv Morgan, who held the SmackDown Women's title for about a month and a half. And then you also have Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, who definitely can always get a crowd fired up and had fantastic matches throughout the year.
Oh, absolutely.
Ladies, please start us off.
First of all, in case y'all don't know or don't remember, it doesn't matter. I'm wearing the EST. Yes. Also, I love me some Cody Rhodes. I cannot believe he came back and I did not know about it. I don't understand where that came from. Heard the entrance, didn't know.
Y'all, I was not ready. I was not expecting all that pyro, but it's okay. It's okay. He still had a really good year. A lot of great matches with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Boy, they was over there lighting it up.
They were.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Literally. Drew McIntyre, his match with Roman Reigns at Clash of the Castle.
Boy.
That you had his people pulling from strong. So that was a good one.
I didn't doubt Roman for a second. But that was a good match.
That
I said, oh, excuse me.
Yes, and then let's not forget Liv.
Liv
has been living the dream. This has been her dream since she was a child, and she even told her backstory and was telling us where she came from and how she had to get there and how everybody underestimated her. Out of everybody from the Riot Squad, they underestimated her, and it's just like, this was what she pushed for. She literally had to go in, and she had to literally do it on her own, by herself. She's had some help along the way, but for her, it's just, I'm going to push, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to make everybody eat their words. And to do it on one of the biggest celebrities that has come in, Ronda Rousey. She saw her opportunity, and let's say congratulations again for winning Money in the Bank, cashing in, and taking Ronda out. Knew she picked her spot. She really did.
Yes, she did.
And I don't know what more to say about Roxanne. Miss Roxanne, you are the youngest one across the board. Brilliant. Love it. Love you. Yes, ma'am. Alyssa, Steve.
Well, you look at, the definition of babyface. I mean, it's the person that the moment their music hits, you're out of your seat, you're excited, you're having a blast, you know they're about to give you a great 10, 15, 20 minutes of absolute fun during that period of time. That is literally the definition, and really all 5 of these showed up, showed out. That you were live for Liv Morgan's Pop Alyssa.
Oh, yeah, that girl.
You saw her not only win, but then 2 hours later cash in and win the title as well. And I heard the place was deafening.
Oh, y'all, I had in the little ear things that I usually have in. I had on noise canceling headphones, and I had music going in my headphones. I could hear all of that. Every single scream, every little girl in the crowd, like I want to be like her, all of that.
Wow.
All through all the headphones and stuff like that. That place, the top blew off.
Well, her story, I wanted to be a champion, and it's not an uncommon story. I mean, a lot of wrestlers have that story, but Liv's just seems like it just hits a little more. She's what every little girl dreams of being. And she also, let's call a spade, was not supposed to get here. She was not supposed to have this moment.
Really, she wasn't.
And yet, she did, got the title, beating one of the biggest names, not one of the biggest women's names, not just in wrestling, but just in sports in general.
Yeah.
And not only that, did it twice. You know, controversy or not, the record book is going to state Liv Morgan has beaten Ronda Rousey
Right.
twice.
And
did not tap out in her loss.
And she looked good doing it. Didn't she have an injured arm at some point from the match?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And kept battling. And then you look at folks like Drew. I mean, the pop in Cardiff, from what Paige tells us, was enormous behind his home crowd. We heard both Bianca's and Cody's at WrestleMania. And even though it's done in front of an NXT crowd, obviously significantly smaller than any of those, Roxanne brings the noise when she shows up at an NXT arena as well. I can't wait to see what she brings to Vengeance Day.
Oh, yeah.
In her first event, put her in front of 17,000, 18,000 people. Let's see what this young lady can do.
She got it.
30 seconds. Where you leaning? I mean, I know you put in your votes, but do you think you have an inkling on who's taking this one?
I could see either no offense to the five across the board, but I'm looking at right now Bianca Belair, because every time she comes out, she's just like Liv. She gives her everything, and then I'm leaning towards Cody Rhodes. Nothing against anybody else, but those are just my two picks, and those are my two favorites right now.
Alyssa got 8.
I like Bianca.
Bianca, okay.
I
mean, obviously, I already know who won, so let's not make you wait any longer. This year's OTRA Award for the WWE NXT Babyface of the Year is Bianca Belair. Got the shirt and everything. I know you can't see it that well.
I never needed you at all. Down, I'ma watch you fall down. Yes, ma'am. I never needed you at all. That's what I'm talking about. Girl power. Woo!
Now, this one ends up being an interesting vote because we do have some situations where we do have ties. In the event of a tie, and it is not a majority tie, we do allow our 17-year-old son to break the tie. We do have one category where it was a straight majority tie. You'll run into that a little bit later. But we actually did have a tie in this category between Bianca Belair and Roxanne Perez. With Drew and Liv each picking up a vote as well. Liv actually won heavy with the Otras, so you can tell the community crowd is well behind Liv Morgan. But, you know, at the end of the year, I just think, I mean, I don't think this is the last time we're going to see Roxanne Perez up for this category, nor Bianca Belair. You could very well see this same 5 all over again next year.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and real quick tell her story. Bianca has come from, she was talking about she came from running track, wanting to be the best there was for a black woman, and look at her now. She did not have this whole EST mentality when she stepped up. It wasn't until her reality that she didn't know was reality started happening for her, and she's like, this is where I'm meant to be, and I can truly be myself, the EST.
Exactly.
So congratulations, Miss Bianca Belair.
Good job.
Get it, girl, get it.
Yes.
Woo, woo, woo.
Next award category is the team or faction of the year. A lot of fun categories. Because we have, only limited amount of time, we ultimately made the decision to fuse the tag team and faction group together because a lot of the good teams are also members of factions.
Yeah.
You can't, of course, go this year without talking about the Bloodline. They were running a lot of the storylines. But that does not mean they run away with this one. In particular, you've got the group of Imperiums running NXT and then coming up to the main roster and, have run roughshod with Gunther going undefeated since his now full call-up.
Yes, sir.
Holding the Intercontinental Championship. You've got the Judgment Day, which started off as just an idea at the beginning of this year and is now a full-blown faction with a betrayal. We could see that later. RK Bro, what fascinating stories they did this entire year with the Usos, with the Bloodline. They were always a thorn in the side. I hate what happened to Randy. I hope he gets better. And he put, honestly, Riddle was a person that his career was kind of on the backslide, and Randy Orton's really the one, like he's done with countless others over his time.
Yep.
Got him back. And then down in NXT, you've got Toxic Attraction with Mandy Rose running that group. They held the gold for a majority of the year down there, and it wasn't just a moniker. They said, we are the attraction. Ooh. And a lot of times they were the attraction every single night. And so they made quick work of their opponents and looked great doing it.
Yeah.
So these are 5
but still
great teams or factions. I mean, this is a fun group to talk about.
First of all, let's go ahead and start with the Bloodline because we know that's where it's headed. The fact is, this Bloodline story was way before Sammy and Jimmy and Paul. It started with Roman and Jay, and it kind of built with Jimmy coming in to save Jay, and it just kind of built from there where Roman really didn't need a mouthpiece, but who better than to be a mouthpiece when you need it, or just someone to speak for what you're thinking.
Because let's also recall that when this year started, all the way back at the Royal Rumble, Roman was walking alone. Paul was with Brock Lesnar back at Royal Rumble in the weeks leading up to it.
Oh, yeah.
There was about a 4-week period of time where the Bloodline was literally Roman Reigns on his own.
And he made that ish look good because he looked good before the haircut. That's not the point.
But you look at this. I mean, the group had what, 2 championships when the year started. Before the year was over, at one stage they actually had a period of time where they had 7 amongst the group, if you include the North American with Solo for a week.
Oh, forgot that. And let's not forget Judgment Day, because that was another faction, that was started by my favorite, the Rated R Superstar. Let's not forget. And then we did not see that turn coming. They hid that very well. You didn't see it until it actually happened. I don't even think Edge knew it was about to happen. So the fact that he didn't know and he was shocked, I was like, where is this headed? Because I know they ain't about to boot anybody. Edge. So sad. So sad. But the fact is, they look good. They're great. They're strong. You have technically a female presence. Let's not even lie about Poppy or Mommy or whatever she wants to call herself.
She can call me whatever the hell she wants.
She's literally leading this group. Let's go from, RK Bro? RK Bro? Anybody want to speak on that?
RK Bro was fun. I will say that was some of the more humorous. One of my favorite rivalries to see the Bloodline go with, because you had Randy, who had all the history with the Bloodline's family and all that.
Well, even going back further than that, they had good matches with the Street Profits. They had a great rivalry with Alpha Academy. Early in the year, actually lost the titles to Alpha Academy for a little while. So yeah, Alpha Academy had it for 3 weeks.
You mean to the Shush crew?
Yes. Shush, please.
Oh my God.
And then you look at groups from NXT like Imperium that, got the chance to run roughshod over both groups. With Imperium holding the gold at the time of the start of the year because they won it at the Halloween Havoc event that we attended, beating MSK at the time. And then, you don't really have to, if you've watched NXT in any way, you're very familiar with Toxic Attraction.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, minus a member now, but
So
you're looking
sad.
at the year as a whole. Toxic Attraction ran NXT.
Yeah, it really did.
Plain and simple. And I'm just going to call a spade a spade. We're not going to do much in terms of story or anything else here. But I don't think we've seen the last of Mandy, in WWE or NXT. I think, like others before her, I think it will inevitably deal itself. In the meantime, you've got Gigi and JC. They're more than main roster ready.
Yep.
And maybe you've got someone like a Sonya Deville or somebody ready to lead the group. Quick thoughts on this one before we announce it?
I don't think Sonya should be the one to run it. Honestly, I would like Mandy to come back and actually take that slot back, because this is literally her group. So no offense to Sonya, she is good, but it's
Mandy
not.
will have to fix some stuff in the background. But
Well, she got this.
either way, keeping us on time here. So our tag team faction of the year goes to, no surprise, the Bloodline.
Of course.
Never had a doubt. Never had a doubt.
I get excited when I hear this theme. I don't care
I
what.
swear.
I can be in my car driving to work. I can be cleaning house. I get excited when I hear these themes.
And I don't think necessarily the Bloodline's victory here is a surprise to anyone. I mean, every story was related to them. And even though we did have 2 votes going against them, Kia actually went with Judgment Day as her group. Paige went with RK Bro. But 6 out of the 8 going with Bloodline. I don't think that's a surprise. And even for the 2 who didn't vote for Bloodline, I don't think there's much argument here. The fact is, they were involved in every storyline. Literally, the one piece that's missing is a female presence.
There you go. I was just about to say that. That would be interesting to see the Bloodline and Judgment Day go head to head for at least half the year, if they can get a female presence in their group.
Who slides in though?
Naomi, if she gets to come back, or if
She's the person that makes the most sense.
It makes sense to me. That's family. You can't turn on family.
Sammy thinks he's family. I guess we'll see how all that turns out. But it also proves you don't have to necessarily be blood in order
That's
to
right.
be part of the bloodline.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
But
about
congrats to the bloodline. We'll again put all that stuff out for the OTRA Award for Team or Faction of the Year.
that. Yes, ma'am.
Next
yes, sir.
category, the Betrayal of the Year.
Boy.
Oh boy, was this one got you pulling on some heartstrings here. But let's run the quick gambit here. Cora Jade's turn on Roxanne Perez during the summer, right after they won the tag titles together. Roxanne's on the brink of upsetting Mandy Rose. Cora hits her with a skateboard, costs her the title.
Can I say they made me cry a little bit? Literally, I mean, I'm not joking. I was crying tears. I was kind of devastated because, why would you do that to your best friend? Shows she really wasn't your best friend because she was jealous, girl. She was jealous.
It's just she's about what she wants the spotlight on herself.
Yeah, she said that.
Dominic Mysterio turning on both Edge and his father, Rey Mysterio. I noticed there's twice where Edge gets turned on in both of these, although Edge was never truly behind Dominic to start with, but maybe Edge just needs to go back to not having friends because it seems like it never works out.
At this point.
Judgment Day's turn on Edge. I'll tell you, I'm usually pretty good at sniffing out stuff like that, but I did not see that one coming, especially when they added Finn. MVP's attack on Bobby Lashley on the Raw after WrestleMania. Lashley getting the huge win over Omos. And then MVP turns on him to team with the Nigerian Giant. And then at the Royal Rumble, Paul Heyman returning back to the Bloodline and costing Brock Lesnar the WWE title against Bobby Lashley and rejoining up with Roman Reigns.
Can I really sit here and can we say Paul was really with Brock, or was it just that was a cover to, let other stuff behind the scenes kind of happen until they could get Brock where they want him?
Well, he said himself that, none of this was anything in particular or anything that it happened to be that he was put in a position where he saw his way back in, saw a chance for redemption, and he took it because he did not want to be with Brock anymore. So I think he went back with Brock because it's what was familiar.
And then the whole turn with Dominic to his father and Edge. I wasn't really surprised about the whole Edge thing. I was just really more surprised with the whole, how are you going to do that to family, your father, who literally has been wrestling his whole entire life. You sat in the crowd as a kid and you watched your father. And then you grew. It really do be your own blood. Really do. And then you watched him. You grew up and then you followed in his footsteps. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Ray decided to work with his own son for like a year or two contract that really was not paying him. He did this because he wanted to guide Dominic, and look what happens. He took that 2-year contract, he guided Dominic, and he guided Dominic, in my opinion, to Judgment Day. No offense how that played out. It's kind of still a sad story,
Well, now it'll be interesting to see, at what stage does Dominic then step into his light. They've got him under, quote, the influence of Rhea or Mommy or whatever you want to call her. And it'll be curious to see, what they do with Dominic over the next year. You can already tell this is leading to something at WrestleMania. I don't know if it'll be against Edge. I don't know if it'll be against Ray. Maybe both. Maybe Dominic picks a Judgment Day partner, and maybe it's a tag match where he takes on his father at once. Continue to keep pulling at Ray's heartstrings. We'll see how all that, that pans out. But
wouldn't it technically be interesting if Dominic and Rhea went in, and then you have Ray pick someone of his choosing? It would be, for me, I would like to see his daughter try to get her hand at wrestling. That would be interesting to say, hey,
Leah?
Yeah, you didn't want to stay with me. I guided you here. Now look what's happened, and you're under the control. You're coming to my house for different holidays. You're ruining everything. Now we're going to go ahead and take your sister, and we're going to do the same thing I tried to do with you, and hopefully it'll turn out better. It is what it is. MVP's turn. I didn't see that coming.
We saw that live.
I know we did, but
that mess was crazy.
Well, I mean, Lashley just picked up one of the biggest wins of his career and definitely one, again, coming back from injury, and then pulling off the win over, at the time, the undefeated Omos. And then he uses that to turn on him because Lashley's like, look, I don't need you in my corner. So I don't think we're going to, I don't think we've seen the last of that rivalry. They did it at a house show a couple of nights ago for us, so... I mean, he's guided Omos well for a guy who, like Heyman did for Brock and for Roman as well. I mean, Omos needed a mouthpiece, and MVP's a good one.
And the sad thing with Cora and, like, Roxanne, you have to still talk about best friends for a long time. I think way before the storyline even happened, they were best friends, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're eating up all the time. I want to make sure you get some time in.
Yeah, I was like, it's fine. Theirs hit too close to home.
It really did.
Like,
Chorus?
yeah.
Yes.
You ever had a friend turn on you like that?
Yes.
Over some
Ish?
materialistic stuff?
Some skit.
Baby, get real. Be for real. Come on.
Girl, bye.
But,
And the best part behind it is with Roxanne winning the championship. I don't think we're going to have to wait long for that story to rear its head back again, and this time it's going to be with the gold on the line.
it's good and I'm excited.
But is Roxanne going to do the same thing that Cora did to her and hit her with the title? Because that's what's happened, right?
Hit her with a skateboard.
Oh.
But they've already had a
Skateboard.
no-holds-barred match against each other earlier, and it worked out to where Roxanne ended up winning that match. So time for it to pan out, but let's get to it. Our OTRA Award for the Betrayal of the Year goes to
I don't even know who it is.
I don't even know what it is.
MVP.
Wow. Wow.
I told you a
think it
few.
was
I
gonna be
told
that
you a
one.
few
Wow.
were gonna be some surprises in here, and I mean this one was actually one that I felt was, in my opinion, not one of the front runners, but
Yeah,
you know,
me
hey,
neither.
MVP, shocking everyone, and you can see the votes very much split amongst our group here,
Oh,
but
wow.
ultimately 3, including Kia, went with MVP.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it panned out to where that ended up being the difference. But MVP getting the Betrayal of the Year on Omos.
I sure did
Wow.
go with him.
Okay.
The internet does not lie.
All right. Oh.
But, you know, Warren and the Wrestling Girls also
okay.
going with MVP. Myself and Tantalizing Tony going with Judgment Day. The Otras and Dominic, or the Otras and Paige going with Dominic Mysterio. Of course, Paige saw Dominic's turn live in Cardiff. Alyssa going with Paul Heyman. You saw that
It's
live.
alright. I'm riding
you
alone.
know?
And it was great.
And that's fine. You do that a lot, I notice.
I'm noticing, and that's okay. And I'm fine with that.
But, you know, I mean, I agree with what we said earlier. I don't think MVP's turn was one we saw coming, and especially
Oh,
not
no.
when it happened. Not
Really?
necessarily that it happened, but when it happened.
But you know what I like about MVP, and I know this is not the first time. Once he turns on you, this man will literally rub salt in the wounds. He really will. It's not, I'm going to let this happen one day. It's going to, one day turns into a week, turns into a month. I'm going to do it for the whole year to get at you.
When you're done with it, when MVP's done with you, he's done with you.
He really is.
I mean, go ask Cedric Alexander if you need any proof of that. But,
you didn't have to
you
do
know.
that to Cedric.
yeah, well, I mean, how many times has he tried to get Hurt Business back together? Him and Shelton both.
Well, that didn't work in the beginning.
Next
So.
category coming up for our OTRA Awards, the debut or return of the year. Let me get that clock started. These are the moments that just, I mean, you waited for it. And in the age of Triple H, I mean, this is what it is absolutely all about. It's been about the big name returns or the big name debuts. You look, of course, Bray Wyatt hasn't wrestled a match since he came back yet, but you know one is forthcoming. Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Fantastic, you know, return. Great matches and a great trilogy with Seth Rollins. Damage Control's return at SummerSlam. It maybe hasn't quite gone the direction that I think a lot of people did, but they are holding the tag gold right now.
Yay.
Hit Row returning at SmackDown. Everybody, especially when Hit Row got released, everybody was like, they're the up-and-comers. They're the one everybody wants to see. And then just out of nowhere, they're gone.
That makes
So
no
everybody
sense.
was thrilled to see them back, minus Swerve because he's still under the AEW contract. Maybe he comes back at some point. And then, of course, you got to talk about the debut of Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Again, had to get past that celebrity stigma. Showed up and showed out with The Miz that night against the Mysterios. Came back, faced him again later on. And then, of course, his match with Roman. He's absolutely showed out this year. All of these were fun to see. We saw multiple ones in person. In fact, Hit Row's return's the only one we didn't see in person.
I think for me, Damage Control was the one that actually, no offense to Cody because we all know how much I love that man, but Damage Control and watching Bayley come back after seeing Bianca and Becky go for what seemed like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and it was SummerSlam, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And watching them go, and then you're thinking, okay, Becky, this was her downward spiral. No, she gave her nothing but mad respect, and then on top of that, you have to think, Bayley coming back. I'm not her biggest fan, but I am her biggest fan outside of Savannah. And to see her come back, that pulled at me way more than I thought it would. And then seeing Io, and then seeing Dakota, because they literally let Dakota go, didn't they?
Dakota and Io just was injured.
Yeah.
And Dakota was straight released. You know,
Wow.
another one of those
It didn't
bench
make no
releases.
sense.
But, I mean, Triple H very quickly on his first live event in charge wasted no time getting a pair of people who had been given the raw end of the stick, no
Really
pun
did.
intended, and were told like that absolutely will not stand. And he's doing it with a lot of people, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I don't think he's anywhere close to done.
Let's hope not. And then you have to understand, Cody Rhodes coming back. You have to think honestly. I did not know that he had a new theme over in AEW, and we knew that it was talked about.
Pyro.
We knew that it was talked about that he'd be coming back, but then that conversation kind of went quiet. So I'm thinking, oh wow, so he's not coming back, and to sit in the physical building of WrestleMania to see him. Did not see it coming. I'm glad he's back. He's done nothing but literally live for his dad's dream. Now, mind you, may you rest in peace, Dusty Rhodes. He is literally living for his father, and he's doing a very good job at it. And then Bray Wyatt. Oh, my goodness. Like,
Everybody hoped, but here it is. Alyssa, I mean, we saw 4 out of the 5, well, 3 out of 5. Kia's the only one that saw all 4. Your thoughts. I know your thoughts on Cody and all those damn fireworks.
Cody and that pyro. Ooh,
okay.
I like Cody. The pyro not so much.
So, Cody, if you're listening, this is kind of your direct comment from Alyssa.
Please help us
back
establish.
on the fireworks,
I'll be ready
please.
to. Y'all seen the cat with a cucumber? That's me. There you go.
Oh,
But
wow.
now, in all seriousness, Bray Wyatt. When I tell y'all I was scared, y'all gotta think that was the first time I saw him. When I tell y'all I was in the room in the dark with my flashlight on, like looking around for him, like you ain't coming in here, cause all of a sudden you start seeing these things popping up. I'm like, what is this?
And you can just tell Bray's got a lot more coming with him.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot more coming from him. It's not gonna be just Bray alone on this one. Bray is gonna become a source of vengeance. I mean, honestly, with the kind of star power he comes with, I mean, this will rival the Bloodline at some stage when all of the pieces finally come together. You're already seeing Alexa starting to get influenced.
Oh, wow.
You know, with her rivalry coming up with Bianca as they battle for the title this upcoming Monday, and that's going to be the, Fiend Alexa probably making a comeback, so let's see.
I like her comment on saying when I think Bianca said Bray's controlling you, and Alexa made her comment saying, no, he's not. This is all me, and that was something in itself. Now, having Hit Row come back, oh my God, that was crazy. I love
I missed one SmackDown in 6 months.
I
And
feel
it's
like
the
this-
night Hit Row comes back.
I
My
feel-
girl, B-Fab, come on.
I feel like this is the whole Shield thing over for you again.
Missed one Raw all year, and it's the night the Shield broke up. 10 years. Jesus Christ. But either way, I mean, all of these were fun to see.
Oh yeah.
But, OTRA Awards, you gotta have one go above the rest. The OTRA Award for the debut or return moment of the year goes to... We have a tie.
Woo!
What? Cody?
Wow.
Great?
Wow.
Right next to you.
That's my natural reaction. Oh my gosh.
I'm not even surprised.
I'm
I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because these two were both like.
on their game. Mentally, physically, emotionally. What Alyssa...
I mean, you see it, a straight majority split. I mean, no disrespect to the other 3 that were involved, but there was absolutely zero way that you could differentiate between these two, and ultimately the command decision was made that it was not fair to sit here and out of 8 billion people on this planet to have a single individual decide which one was better. They both were great. They both were, I mean, landmark type of things.
Oh, yeah.
And ultimately, we just made the command decision that they will be co-winners this year. So Bray Wyatt and Cody Rhodes, each with their respective voters, taking the return or debut moment of the year. I guess Cody's was technically both, because it was a debut in his
And a
American
return.
Nightmare form plus a return. I guess you could call Bray in his new form as well,
Yeah.
also a return as well. So really, they fit both categories.
Congratulations to both men. Yes, sir.
And just, I mean, and this is what it is. I mean, we're not going to sit here and shortchange somebody if it made that much of an impact.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
it is how it goes. But Bray and Cody, congrats on picking up your award here. Moving, as we close in on the halfway point here of our award show, and for all of you who have joined in, hey, if you got your thoughts, feel free to throw it in the chat. If you're watching this later on, hey, fast forward to see who else wins if you like, but whatever. But let's move into our superstars of the year, beginning with NXT. We will first go through the female superstar of the year, then the male and then we will have a very short discussion to decide the overall. So let's start with the women of NXT. Now, we agreed by definition that it must be someone that spent at least 7 of the 12 months of the year in NXT or NXT UK, because technically it did exist. And these are the 5 through a very long list. I think that might have been the longest list we have, because virtually you could put that entire roster on the nomination list. I'm pretty sure we did. But we eventually got it down to 5. Alba Fire, Cora Jade, Indy Hartwell, Mandy Rose, and the NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. I mean, every one of them great stories, all of them very popular amongst the NXT universe, but only one can claim female superstar in my mind. I'm not the person to chat on this. Let's go to the ladies of the group here. Please take it away.
I'm not gonna lie. I know at first she was Kaylee Ray, and to switch her name to Alba Fire, but still let her keep her significance with the hair and the clothes and the baseball bat and everything. I think it was just a name switch, but she's still the same person that she was when she was over in NXT UK. So for Alba Fire, that is nothing but short of greatness right there. You can come from the UK to the United States and still keep your character and still look like a legit badass. I'm not gonna, and the fact that you've had some good rivalry with Mandy, Toxic Attraction, and then moving to Cora Jade, who again I don't even think you can escape this conversation. Cora and Roxanne being best friends.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear through our awards up to this point. I mean, I think we know where the women's division is heading over the next several years, when you keep seeing Cora and Roxanne keep appearing this many times.
Exactly, and then you have to understand Indy. Out of everybody in the Gargano family, what is it? What was the name of the group?
The Way.
The Way.
You can't see the W, but there it is.
I feel like at some point when she's ready and they're ready for her to move up, I would like her to join The Way, and I would like them to be a happy family. You got Dexter, you got Johnny, you got Austin, you got Candace. Now Austin Theory is doing his own thing, but hey, he's doing a great job. But to see Indy down here, and she's gained confidence, she's gained ability, you have to think, where did that come from? Because when we first saw her, she was kind of skittish until Candice LeRae took her under her wings. But to see her at Deadline was great. Her outfit was great. She was great. And
Well, you're finally getting the push for Indy that I think a lot of people has been sitting there. And, they said it when trying to select her for Deadline, and they made her earn the spot in the qualifying match. The only thing she's missing, everybody believes in her, except Indy Hartwell herself. But this could be the start of something. And with now there being new blood, younger blood in NXT, it's going to be Indy Hartwell who's going to be able to step in with that veteran presence. I've been here. I've done everything except win that belt right there in your hands, Roxanne, or Cora, or whomever ends up with it going forward. That's the only thing I haven't done here. And at this stage, I'm ready to go be the champion I've always meant to be. She's not with the company anymore, but you can't dissuade what Mandy Rose did with NXT the entire year. She was absolutely phenomenal, held the championship for all of
the whole year?
Like 3 weeks without the belt. Otherwise, she ran the entire year in terms of the women's division. But you're seeing, not just necessarily new blood with Cora and Roxanne, but you're also seeing established veterans now getting pushes like Alba and like Indy. And as I said, these are just the 5 that our list came up with. We have, this was easily our longest list of any of our categories in terms of trying to whittle this down to 5. There are a number of people on this list who deserve to be here, but just because you had to get it down to 5. So, we got a minute to go. Alyssa, I mean, where do you see this, leaning?
I think it's going to have to either go with probably either Mandy or somebody like Alba. Like, when they show up, you're going to see something great. You never have to doubt that. Some people, they show up, you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. They'll get you in your emotions. Alba had me scared at Halloween Havoc. She had the little face paint on and all that. They evoke emotion, and I love it.
Who was it we were talking about in the car when they went to the haunted house? Was it JC or was it?
It was JC.
She said, I ain't going in there. I'm going in there. She said, you coming in with me? She said, no, I'm not.
Girl, I'll sit right here in this car.
Well, I really will. I'm okay. That'd be great.
And of course, the idea is that NXT is literally the first stepping stone towards bigger things. But time's up here. Let's announce our NXT Female Superstar of the Year, and it goes to Mandy Rose.
It makes complete sense. Congratulations, Miss Mandy.
And again, I don't think this is necessarily a surprise to anyone.
No.
And that right there, I mean, kind of tells you 6 out of the 8 votes going to Mandy Rose. The Wrestling Girls and Warren going with Roxanne Perez. I mean, you end the year with the gold, and you're the one that dethrones Mandy. I mean, you get exactly what comes with it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, and we're not going to get too much into it here, only because we don't have that kind of time. Mandy made a personal choice, and she made the choice that she felt was best for her. We're not discussing it here. It's her business. That's her choice. It's about the money, whatever. But the fact is, for the time that she was here, which is what we're voting on, she was the attraction.
Domination.
And I mean, and you know what? And give her all the credit in the world. Key and I have said it multiple times on the show.
And I'll say it again.
She went down to NXT looking for herself.
And she found it.
She found a self I don't even think she knew existed. And look at what she became. 400 plus days as champion. Second longest reign in all of NXT women's history. Only Asuka had a longer one. I mean, that's high praise considering you think of some of the people who have held that belt.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Mandy. We'll be seeing you shortly, as of course she will be the female representative for the overall, which we will be discussing shortly. But with that, we move to the male superstar of NXT to find out who will challenge Mandy for the overall down in NXT. And you've got 5 great names up here with Braun Breaker, the NXT champion for almost the entire year, a couple of weeks here and there in which he didn't have it. The A-Champ, Carmelo Hayes, North American title for most of the year. Grayson Waller, who had multiple great storylines, multiple great matches, and right now is the #1 contender to battle Braun Breaker for the title. JD McDonough, who did well in UK before they left. And JD, we're going to get to him in a second, being honestly, no disrespect to the others, he's the workhorse of the 5 that's on here.
He really is.
And then Wes Lee basically saving his career with the removal of Nash Carter later part of last year. He had been a tag team wrestler his entire career. He revitalizes himself, makes himself one of the biggest names out there, and right now holds the North American title. I hate that they didn't include that in his render, but it is what it is. 5 well-deserving superstars. Only one can win it, though. Ladies, take over.
I'm not going to lie. Out of everybody, I couldn't even tell you who my pick would be. I just know...
We'll remind you in 3 minutes.
I just know Braun Breaker got his emotions in check to hold his NXT title. Carmelo Hayes, as great as he was, he held a title, but he doesn't now. Grayson Waller... I'm not going to even discuss what we saw at Deadline. We're going to leave that where it is. So if you saw it or didn't see it, it is what it is. JD McDonough, first man in, last man out. Literally, his promos for when he came back, he was stuck over, I think he said he was stuck over in Ireland because it snowed. He came back and you just did not see what was coming. It's great. And again, Wesley, thank you, brother, for winning that title. You were my pick, and thank you. I rode with you until them wheels fell off. Thank you, Jesus.
And, just speaking on McDonough here real quick, who, I think out of the 5 is the one that probably most people would be the least familiar with because he was with the UK. He's a guy that, you see him every week on NXT.
You really do.
NXT is a show where you'll wrestle and then you may not see him wrestle a match again for 2 or 3, 4 weeks.
But
JD's on there every week.
Yeah.
Like, he's wrestling somebody. He doesn't want to stay in the back. He doesn't want to do promos. He wants to wrestle.
Well, even though his promos are good for, someone being on the mic. But like you said, he literally has that presence of a veteran who comes in, who tries to work with others. But at the same time, you don't ever see him sitting back, relaxing. Oh, I've done my one show. I'm done. No. It's, I will fight whoever you put in front of me. And that is that. Come on.
And he went, man, when he showed up, he went right for the big dog, the big gun. He went right for Braun.
Right for Braun.
And he's not the only one who did it this year. You look at some names who didn't make this list. You look at Tyler Bate. You look at Ilya Dragunov. You look at Gunter, who spent part of his year down in NXT. That aren't even names on this list. Breaker, getting time on Monday Night Raw early in the year.
Yes, sir.
Lost the NXT title to Dolph Ziggler for a little while. Got it back on the Raw after. And then run roughshod. We've talked many times about his evolution of becoming the wrestler he's become. Waller and Carmelo do nothing but show up and show out and keep you entertained the entire time. They absolutely are built for the main roster. I can't wait to see what the rest of their time in NXT, as well as, eventually their push to the main roster looks like. And then we can't talk enough about Wesley and what he's done. I mean, he saved his career because there were so many times after the situation with Nash Carter that I didn't know what his future held, if any.
It looked bleak for like the longest time.
Now he's holding singles gold.
Yes, sir. That's
Good
how
for
we
him.
roll.
And took out the A-Champ to do it.
And did.
Congratulations! Woo woo! That's my vote right there.
Ooh.
I mean, my bad. On the ladder, what?
He got him on the ladder.
So give me in the last 50 seconds here, if you could real quick give me one thing about this male division that you want to see in 2023. What do you want to say?
I want them to step up their game, and I'm not saying step up on the ladder. I want them to step up their game, take it to the next level, because when you go to that main roster, that's what's going to be expected of you up there. What you're seeing here in NXT, this is, I wouldn't even say it's developmental anymore. It is what it is. But when you get to that main roster, step it up. Alyssa?
I want to see more evolution. I like what they're doing, but I want to see more growth, more opportunities, more. I don't know.
And my only one here, and I'm going to point it out. He's main roster ready. This needs to go right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carmelo needs to hold that belt, and soon.
No.
Whether he takes it from Braun, whether he takes it from Grayson, I don't care. Carmelo, either put the strap on him or call him up. One of the two, please. But with that, our time's up for that one. The male NXT Superstar of the Year is
Oh no.
Carmelo Hayes.
Wow. Dang. Wow.
Really?
I told you there were some surprises in there.
This is a surprise.
Over
I
Braun
love it
Breaker?
though. Yeah.
The panel be it. Hey, the
Let's
panel
see.
giveth, but let's see it.
I don't think
Wow.
As you can see, there was a pretty decent split, but
Yeah, he young
in the end,
dog.
and I'll tell you right now, I saw
Oh,
this
yeah.
one. Of all
Yeah,
the votes across the entire board, this was the one the Otras went heavy on Carmelo Hayes.
I'm not
I think it was something like
surprised.
82% of the vote went with Carmelo for this particular one. And I mean, that is a sign right there that he is a guy that is going to, stand up and show out. Warren and Paige both giving Grayson Waller his due in everything he did. Remember, a great story with Johnny Gargano that wrote him off of NXT going all the way back to the beginning of the year. And the wrestling girls, I'm not going to lie, I think there might be a little lust in the eyes, but they are very much behind Wesley and what he has done. Not my personal cup of tea, but, it is what it is.
Hey.
And then, of course, the two of y'all, I don't think Breaker's a poor choice. I mean, Breaker carried the division, but it also goes to show you it's not just about the strap. It's about what you're doing out there. And the fact is, every single time Carmelo Hayes is out there, like he says, the man don't miss.
Hey.
Every match is a banger.
Okay.
And again, one vote was the difference, and it settled it. So Carmelo Hayes, the OTRA Award for the Male Superstar of the Year. You can tell Kia's not happy about it, so I have a feeling I think I know where she's leaning. But of course, that will give us a very brief version for now the overall NXT. We're only going to put this one for 3 minutes because we've already had pretty good discussion. But the Male Superstar of the Year, Carmelo Hayes, against the Female Superstar of the Year, Mandy Rose, voting for, out of the two, who had the best overall year. I mean, they obviously won their respective categories. So it's like advancing out of a semifinal into a final.
Yeah.
They both, obviously never really had any direct run-ins with each other, as you would imagine. But, the fact is, each one of them entertains you in their own way. And when you go to these NXT events, we've went to multiple inside the Performance Center this year. I'm so happy they're back on the road, by the way. And I can't wait for Vengeance Day. But the reality is, as soon as their music hits, good guy, bad guy, heel, face, whatever role they're playing, you're excited to see them. Obviously, I hate it that one of them's not going to be here anymore, but, she absolutely has created a legacy and a history that you can't just pretend like doesn't exist anymore in what Mandy did with Toxic Attraction. You're still peeved because of Carmelo winning, aren't you?
There's many reasons I could say, but I'm going to leave it off the record because I like the fact that this is our first showing. But I don't know. I don't know about next year.
You're not going to forgive him for one event that happened well over a year ago. This had nothing to do with 2022.
Well, it is what it is, and no, I can't forget that.
One day we will get Kia on like TikTok or something, and she can explain this. Maybe that's what we need to do with the TikTok. We just need to, just tell our background stories. Maybe if you want to see the behind the scenes, that's where you head. The reality is, it's, I mean, these are two of the best, and both. Obviously, Mandy spent years on the main roster and then came back, conquered NXT. I just said it a couple of minutes ago. Carmelo's ready. Either put the NXT title on him or call him up. He's ready right now. Alyssa, your thoughts?
I mean,
unfortunately there's not a ton we haven't said already.
I'm not about to play with you. She's trying to make me say it, y'all. I've said it in every single video up to this point.
Well, go ahead. Don't let this one go either.
I can't do nothing but respect this choice because the reality is this was my other vote. Like if I didn't go with Braun, I would have won with Carmelo. Because the reality is when it comes to the fighting and the entertainment,
I mean, look at the last match we saw. I mean, he did that little flip and Grayson threw him out, and you finally just saw him just. All right,
I'm done.
All right, I'm enough of this.
Like when it comes to actual entertainment and the value that he brings to the table, it was unmatched.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing for Mandy though.
Absolutely.
Mandy came back.
That girl dominated the entire year.
She really did, and she looked good doing it. And we will leave that off the record as well. But at the same time, I'm just saying between the two, man versus woman, I can already tell you where my pick is headed. I really can.
Yeah.
But again, I think being this is one where I think even the person who loses, still is in a great position because these are the two that we elected ran it, but we needed to have one winner for the overall, and that will be Mandy Rose.
Yes! Thank you.
I have never heard her so happy for Mandy Rose.
She has gone through a lot from WWE to NXT to Tough Enough to good job, Mandy. I am so proud of you. I know you're not with us right now, but you go do you, boo, and come back when you're ready.
And how about that?
Woo!
Unanimous across the board.
Yes, ma'am.
Like everybody across the board going with Mandy Rose having the best year of NXT.
But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? When she's been literally the female that has run from WWE, she has run straight through WWE, back to NXT, held gold, and has had it for almost shy of 3 weeks, a year.
Right. She made a personal choice to give up the strap and walk away from this company because I think they were planning on her running up on Asuka's record.
Ooh.
Because he would have only needed to get to somewhere around, I think, SummerSlam in order to start closing in on it.
Hey,
she had every piece, and she beat everyone. Didn't matter who you threw in front of her.
Yeah.
You name anyone on that roster, Mandy faced him, beat him, most of the time by herself. Because how many matches did we see where JC and Jane were nowhere to be, Gigi and JC, were nowhere to be found.
They were in the back, but that's how she wanted it, though, and that's a good thing for, say you want your girls in the back when you go out and do your own thing.
Exactly.
That's why it's unanimous. Go ahead, girl.
Exactly.
Get it done.
Unanimous, our NXT overall superstar of the year, Mandy Rose.
Woo,
Congratulations.
woo, woo.
Yes,
Proud of you.
Returning back to our main as we enter the second half. Hopefully everyone's had a good time. I've enjoyed it, and maybe we'll be able to get some
shockers in here.
Absolutely, and I have a feeling. Well, actually, I don't have to have a feeling. I know we're not done. So let's move into our next category, which is the Oh Wow moment of the year. This has been the one that got us easily the most excited. This is the moment that we just said, oh wow, and the only reason we called it oh wow is because the oh shit moment of the year is already trademarked. So I looked into it because that was what we were going to name it. But it's just the moment that you saw it and went, oh wow, like did that really happen or did that say it? A number of these we saw in person. Cody showing off his torn pec inside of Hell in a Cell. Spoiler alert, that will not be the last time we talk about Hell in a Cell on this particular award show. Edge getting booted from Judgment Day. Again, we've mentioned it earlier. We did not see that one coming at the time. Jey Uso's speech from a couple of weeks ago. I don't give a damn what the Tribal Chief said. And the look that Roman gave at the end of that, just, insanity, and I just remember us sitting in our living room going, what did he say?
What did he say?
Liv Morgan's cash in, just hours, and it's on Ronda Rousey. I mean, I fully did not expect Rousey to be the one that she would cash in on, but did, and successful. And then, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin, 19 years away from the business.
Wow.
And not only does he return at Mania, he wrestles a 20-minute match with an active superstar in Kevin Owens and wins.
Yes, he does. Good job,
You know,
Mr.
you can't not. I mean, because as soon as you heard it say, we're going to have a match, and you heard the bell ring, it was, oh, wow. Ladies, take it.
I'm not going to even lie. For me, again, to watch Cody come out and knowing that he's injured, I didn't know how extensive the injury really was because he didn't really take his shirt off for like a lot of the matches or whatever or whatnot. But when he took his jacket off at that moment, it's like, oh wow, he literally is about to go toe to toe with Seth freaking Rollins, the Visionary, and he's going to literally light it up and do what he does best. That was beast mode for me. I don't know what else to say to that man.
Well, I mean, he made it clear, like, you can't make it worse.
Ooh.
You know, can you handle the pain? And I'll tell you right now, I've only partially torn a pec. I've never fully torn it off the bone. But that giant bruise did not look like it was much fun.
No, and then Seth decided to put a stick in it. Oh no, baby, no. Now, can we also say my other favorite one was Jay?
Was Jay and Sammy not just the entertainment of the entire second half of the year?
Did Jay not get the hint when Roman beat the dog mess out of him when he first started? And you have the audacity to literally sit here and say, I don't give a damn about the truck.
I saw the best line that said that he was having 2020 flashbacks of the ass whoopings that Roman Reigns gave him. This is why that ass whooping's gonna happen.
That's what it is.
Whoa.
So Jay kind of knew he stepped over the line, but he had had enough of Sammy at that point, and now it's worked out. It's managed to work out for the moment. Alyssa, you're the one who saw it live in person. Liv's cash in.
Again, Liv's cash in. I couldn't get to my phone quick enough.
I was texting you at the time, like, get your phone, it's coming. And about the time I hit the button to send it to you, like, nah, too late, there's the music.
Oh, there's the music. Watch me. I said, whoop. Y'all, I was sitting up there like, oh my God, this girl about to get beat up. Like, Lord, I don't know. I was like, why would she do this? But I'm telling you, it had me over there like, me and the woman beside me, we both over there like, oh, Jack, girl. It was crazy. The one that took me off guard, though, was Edge.
Yes.
Edge get kicked out? Boy, what?
The fact that he...
This was his baby.
Exactly.
Did y'all see the face he made? Because he's like, oh, okay, we're about to kick one of you out, and we're about to bring Finn in. But the fact that you had Priest talking? No, it's you. Say what?
Which is you, and then it was like...
Huh?
Oh no! And about the time you figured it out, it was like, boom, here it comes.
Chair shot. The disrespect to first of all, disrespect to a veteran, disrespect to a Hall of Famer, and this storyline with not just Edge, but then including his wife, that took a turn for the worse because he was literally begging for mercy on that, and that did not work out well for him. But Stone Cold, oh my gosh, say 19 years with an injured neck, and you come back and you wrestle one of the best in Kevin Owens.
His neck, his knees. The long list. And everyone knows, that he was, one of the greatest of all time. Most people define him as the greatest of all time. And the fact that he came in there and he gave you a match, and he looked great doing it. And again, reading those stories that say like, hey, I'm not done. I want to do that again. I'm gonna need a year to ice my knees, but I'll be back.
True.
But all five of these were fun.
I'm excited to see who takes the cake.
But only one can win. So based on our panel, the Oh Wow Moment of the Year OTRA Award goes to Jey Uso's.
Wow!
Hang on.
Oh, child.
Roman's face, like
my dog.
Can we say Roman had the look of a daddy at that? What'd you say?
My dog.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Hey, yeah.
He didn't mean that.
He didn't mean that.
He didn't mean that. Roman, seriously, he did not mean that. Okay. But
laugh.
Here's the thing with Sammy. Sammy was the one, even though Jay had an issue with him the whole time, Sammy did not let that faze him. Jimmy was his dog. Roman was tribal chief. Everything else.
My dog.
The fact is,
dog.
if it was not for Sammy, you would have had those flashbacks, and those flashbacks would have been a reality. So thank you, Sammy, for saving our boy Jay, because Roman was about to get him.
Because he had heard, he couldn't, but you could tell by the look on his face, he could not believe what he had just heard. Like, I'm sorry, we gonna say that again. And of course, you know, you can't ignore the fact that it introduced one of the greatest words to ever be created.
Oopsie.
Feeling a little bit, he's not
Oopsie.
feeling very
Oopsie.
today.
On the floor.
And Roman, and you can see him trying not to bust out the entire time. This was another one. We had a straight tie. Our 17-year-old son broke the tie. And I think it's just from the hilarity that came behind it. Watching them in the ring trying not to bust out laughing the entire time.
And you have to think, Solo is probably one of the most serious members of that group. He was trying his hard, too.
Yeah.
But either way, that one was well deserved, but you can see this one very even split. The only one also that had a vote for every choice. So,
Wow.
definitely one that could have gone in any direction. Moving into the next category, we did the face of the year earlier in the episode. We now have to move to the heel of the year. And for the first time, we spot the tribal chief on his own as one of the members that could win this award, as Roman Reigns makes the list. But you also add in the new improved Austin Theory.
Hey!
The still undefeated Gunther, since he officially joined up holding the Intercontinental title. Mandy Rose has already walked away with multiple award wins today already. She's absolutely there in the running. And then, of course, for her heel run as of late, you got to include the SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey in this list as well. Because, again, just like we talked about, the babyface is the one that as soon as their music hits, you're up, you're excited. It's the polar opposite here, with maybe Roman being the only exception. But honestly, I mean, most places you go, there's a lot of booing for Roman in most locations. It's the person, the moment their music hits, you're like, oh my Lord, somebody beat the crap out of this person.
And for me, that person was Austin Theory, y'all. I said honestly,
You have absolutely done a 180 on Austin this year.
Let me tell you something. He's from Atlanta. I didn't claim him. I claimed Cody. I claimed Apollo. I claimed who else? Who else was from Atlanta? AJ Styles. I'm so sorry for that disrespect. I claimed him, but I never claimed Austin Theory. But this man right here came back with the facial hair, the attitude. But you have to think about everything he lost. He lost Vince, who was the one who was literally helping him. Roman decided what
I'll be your daddy now.
I was okay with that. I would have seen that, but that's not what it is. Let's move on. He's come back with the vengeance, and then the jacket and the muscles and the pecs and the legs and everything.
His arm, his bicep is about the size of any of our heads. Like, this man found the gym.
He really did. But yeah, I did do a 180 for Theory.
And speaking, on hitting the gym. I mean, what about Gunther and his changeover? I mean, and I'm going to just realistically speak on it. When he was in the UK, holding the UK championship, he was strong, he was big, but he had a little meat on him. He had a little size on him. And he found the Performance Center, and boy, did he get himself jacked. What a transformation once he moved into the main roster for Gunther and his run, as well as the rest of Imperium.
I'm not going to lie. Triple H, if you're listening, could you take in 3 people who want to try 6 months in your...
I don't even want to wrestle a match. Just give me 6 months of that training.
Right.
That's all I want.
I want to be able to see my feet. I'm just saying.
Sick of this girl. I am sick of her. My God.
I'm sorry. Let's get back on track. I'm sorry.
We've spoken at length on Mandy. A lot of talk on Roman as well. I think their track records speak for themselves. Roman adds a little bit of humor and hilarity in there, but for the most part, he's the person that, most of the universe is ready to see him lose. They're ready to, even though it doesn't look like it's happening. But let's go down to the end there and let's talk about Ronda Rousey. Ronda, when she came back, she did exactly what you expected. She was family friendly. She was, good with the kids. But this is the Ronda Rousey that does best. She runs her mouth, but everyone also knows she's got the checkbook to back it up. She will absolutely whoop your ass, man or woman or man.
She saw what she did to Triple H at WrestleMania, right?
I'm looking at Adam Pearce earlier this year.
Ooh,
Poor
child.
Drew Gulak was on the wrong end of it.
Y'all should know not to get in her way.
And now all of a sudden you've got her teaming up with another great MMA veteran with Sonya Deville, and she's absolutely just running things, running roughshod through the SmackDown Women's Division with seemingly no one stopping her at the moment.
Yeah. I don't, to me, it irks me a little bit. I really wanted to, and for it to irk me, I love the fact that Ronda and Shayna are together. And that you have to think, best friends, you have to think, Ronda literally has worked with Shayna in the past. Now she's working with her again. The only thing I don't like is they're attacking too many people, but I guess to be heels, that's what you have to do to keep yourself relevant. And
you instantly feel your blood boil the moment that, all of a sudden, you hear Reputation hit the, you hit it. I mean, you feel your blood boil, and you're ready to see who's going to be the one that's going to finally take her out, who's going to be the one that's going to finally bring an end to the Ronda Rousey run. Because you can tell she's got a very good stranglehold. It took a cash in to take the title off her in the first place. But she very quickly corrected that, and she found her badass side again, and that's dangerous for that women's division.
I'm kind of hurt because y'all know I was pulling for Shotzi against Ronda. I would have loved to see that.
And they let us believe it, too.
I think, honestly, here's my thing. Quickly, Shayna is going to be the one that turns on her out of nowhere, finds her brutal instincts, and take Ronda out.
I did say Sonya earlier.
Yeah.
My bad.
You're good.
It's Shayna Baszler.
You're good.
Yeah. Okay, hey, that's what happens when you do things live. You screw up.
It's okay.
But time up. NXT or WWE Heel of the Year goes to Roman
Never had a doubt.
Reigns.
There we go.
And, I think it's hard to argue this one. The fact is, he's just like with Ronda Rousey, he's the guy you're ready to see lose. And the fact is, every time you think, okay, I finally can get a person who can, be able to go up against him, and he's going to be the one to take it out. Because how many of those, matches with Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins at Royal Rumble, Drew definitely at Clash at the Castle, every one of these were like, this is where it's got to end. This is where it absolutely has to come to an end. And ultimately, it never panned out. Roman keeps finding a way. The bloodline helps him, with a number of matches. That's what they're there for. Their job is to hit the gold around his waist and shoulder, because he has 2 belts. And it seems like our panel, for the most part, agrees. Now, granted, I went Mandy. I thought Mandy had a better heel year in NXT than Roman did, because Roman still had some bright spots and had some of those humorous moments. Mandy was absolutely, lay it out. And Kia, you went Gunther. Why?
He's come back. He has had a hell of a year from UK all the way up to NXT, all the way up to the main roster. And he's lost his weight. He's taken this seriously. He took the title seriously. And I just assumed Ring General Gunther, I assumed he was going to be the all-out winner. Nothing against him. I want to see him and Roman go at it. Just saying. That'd be a great match.
Wouldn't that be fun to see? Especially if they're going to do another UK event this year.
Alyssa?
Give me Gunther and Roman Reigns.
What are your thoughts, Alyssa?
Well, we all know my loyalty is gonna lie, but I'm excited for it. When it does happen, I'm excited.
Next category up. Congrats to Roman, heel of the year. No, I don't think that was necessarily a surprise to many, and even with my vote going against it, it is what it is. Next category coming up is the match of the year, and I told you we'd end up back at Hell in a Cell as well as a number of others, but this one, there's hundreds of matches every year. To whittle this down to 5
was hard.
Was tough. But we did somehow whittle it down. Gunther and Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship at Clash at the Castle. 2 of those coming on the Clash of the Castle card, because you also had Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre for the undisputed Universal title at Clash. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. That was the torn pec match. An absolute barn burner. Becky Lynch and Bianca, if you include the entrances in that, it easily wins this one, because both of them showed up and showed out with their outfits for that particular night, and then wrestled an absolute masterpiece. How that didn't main event night one, is beyond me. Except, I mean, we know, of course, Stone Cold's return. You knew that was going to get it, but that deserved to main event. And then the War Games match of, historic because the first time it's on the main roster, you get the Bloodline, you get 5 of the biggest names to challenge the Bloodline. You test Sami Zayn's loyalty. You add Kevin Owens in there as well. The Brawling Brutes, Drew, finally, getting back on good terms with Sheamus. I mean, it had you in your emotions. It had you in your feelings. And so that's what ultimately it's about. We're just going to have to guess at the clock here because I did not start it. So my bad. We'll say we're about 2 minutes in or so. So ladies, go for it.
Oh, we already know where I'm going to head. It's the Cody Rhodes Seth Rollins match. The fact that you went almost 3-4 times with each other going head to head, and it was literally the moment they came out, their entrances minus the pyro because we know it is what it is. You knew they were gonna have a hell of a match. Bump, Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
You knew they were gonna put on a barn burner. Seth Rollins, visionary architect, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. It is what it is. I feel like these two have come a long way evolution-wise from Seth being in the Shield all the way up to his evolution, and then Cody being with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase for this Legacy, and going to AEW and coming back, and then you have Sheamus and Gunther, who literally Sheamus had the Brawling Brutes, Gunther had Imperium. It is what it is, and let's not forget our ladies. How can we speak on that? Literally, that is literally only women's match up there. Anybody? Alyssa, Steve?
I mean, I could talk for days about these matches.
I could too.
And whatnot. Alyssa's always been the one that's kind of fallen on the back burner for a lot of these, so I want to give her every opportunity, especially with Roman appearing twice in that one.
Well, y'all know I'll never turn down some Roman. But no, the Clash of the Castle match was really good. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I don't doubt that man.
How many near falls in that one?
Boy, what? When I tell you, I was on the edge of the couch like this, like.
She literally was.
I don't doubt Roman, but boy, I'll tell you, I had a little sweat gland starting to act up. I had to, excuse me, I had to make it act right. But that one was good. Solo coming in, being introduced.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yes.
Filthy. And then, of course, the men's war game match. Don't even get me started on this man standing in that cage. Whoa, what? Oh.
Roman in a cage all by himself. I like
with the haircut.
Heyman with the spray bottle.
Back there in the chair. Boy, what?
Can we say Alyssa at this point, she was literally out for the count.
I can't tell you how many things I saw on Twitter that's and they got the gif of Roman just walking out of the cage door to the rings. I mean, sauntering out there. He's last. He can take his sweet time because the match doesn't begin officially till he shows up. And how many thirst traps I saw in there going, please have this man come ruin my life.
Please.
I believe there were references to Noxema and some other things, but we're going to leave that where it is because this is a PG show.
This is a family show.
This is a family show.
What y'all talking about?
All I'm going to state, because I figure we're at about 30 seconds, Gunther Sheamus, if you like old school, beat 'em up, no mercy, we're just going to leave it all out there. That is the match for you.
Chops.
If you didn't watch it, exactly, chops, kicks, everything. I mean, that is what old school wrestling, and that is why at the end of the day, you see a guy like Gunther who is going to give respect to a guy like Sheamus because he's going to be like, look, you made me earn it.
Yeah.
You made me earn it in front of all of these people. What an environment. 2 UK guys, 2 European guys in front of that European audience. What an environment.
Can I say Sheamus looked good in this match?
He did. He looked fantastic.
Sweat, kick, chops, and everything.
What about the moment where the two of them are just staring down each other while everyone else is fighting around them and they're not moving an inch? We will let them deal with their shit.
They're standing toe to toe, blow for blow.
I know where my deal is tonight.
And I like how they said, you ain't gonna scare me. You ain't scaring me either. Let's go.
But let's get to our victory for the OTRA Award for the WWE NXT Match of the Year. Rhodes and Rollins inside Hell in a Cell.
I can't even.
Yes, sir. Cody, you did it. You were the man. Seth Rollins, you were the man. Nothing against Becky Lynch. I'm sorry, Becky. Please don't come for me. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And
Yep, there you go. I picked it too.
Quick shout out for Ozzy Osbourne. That was Straight to Hell Tonight,
Yeah.
which was the theme song of that particular night. But as you can see, I mean, with all the great matches on there, it came down to two choices. It was either Rhodes Rollins at Hell in a Cell or Gunther Sheamus. You know, the old school, you'll notice the three folks going with the Gunther Sheamus match, kind of the older crew, the more old school, you know, type of wrestling guys who, you know, like the beat 'em up style. Kind of the newer generation, the younger generation, going with the Rhodes Rollins and the more of the entertainment value. Rhodes' Peck, of course, also playing a role, adding in the Hell in a Cell concept as well. But, you know, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these picks. They both were absolutely fantastic. If you didn't see them, it is worth it to go on the network just to re-watch these matches. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Gunther Sheamus.
how many times I've watched Rollins and Rhodes.
We might watch it after SmackDown tonight.
We might.
There we go.
Exactly, because remember, we still got that coming up, and we promise, again, we're going to be done before all of that happens.
Cena's coming
Only
back.
a few more.
Cena's coming back. Hey, Cena's coming back. Hey. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Next.
Moving into our next category, because we're running on just a few categories left. The breakout star of the year.
Wow.
And this time, I will not be stupid, and I will actually start the clock this time. But this is the person that we felt as a group, as our voting panel said, had the biggest jump in their career this year. And you have 5 names that went through major evolutions through this year, all deserving. Now they're on the map as either they are the big name or they're on the brink of becoming the big name. You've got Austin Theory holding the U.S. title, all the evolution he went through this year. We've spoken at length on Braun Breaker holding the NXT title. Dominic Mysterio, I'm not sure, had a bigger transformation.
He really did.
Because of what he was. He went from tag team wrestling now to singles competition, as well as being part of a great faction. Enough can't be said about Liv Morgan and her run. She went from, you know, what most people would call a curtain jockey to SmackDown Women's Champion, and was battling in the main event with Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam, as well as 2 other pay-per-views. And we spoke at length earlier about Wes Lee. I personally thought his career was done, and now I'm not sure. There's only 1 or 2 names in NXT that are a bigger name than he is. Plus, his render does him wonders. That man is jacked. You know, we've met the man in person. He's absolutely just one of the coolest guys that's in NXT.
He's very friendly, very
absolutely.
talkative. There was no... Man.
It's hard to find something bad to say about
You can't.
Wes Lee. You can't.
You can't.
But breakout star of the year, who's the one that put themselves on the map the most? Ladies, take it.
Can I say one thing before we get started? You said we got to meet Wesley and he was nice. And Wesley, you are a very nice person, but I got to meet Dominic Mysterio, y'all.
Oh, man.
That's true, she did. I forgot about that over in Philly.
And let's not forget, y'all are crazy about Rhea. I thought I saw y'all Insanity. No. Landon said the same. I was like, I feel like...
Put your shoe right here.
And the fact he said it to her. Landon literally said, put your foot on my neck. I know I'm 17, but please do it. I will. And he said, I'll trade Dominic for me. I was like, what?
Gracious.
You know what? It is what it is. Either way, I got to meet Dominic. He was very great. And he was a surprise because it was supposed to be, I think, Edge or Finn or something. But
It's supposed to be, I believe, Damien and Rhea.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And you got Dominic and Rhea. But, you know, hey, considering where Dominic's gone, that's not a bad trade-off right now.
No. Well, let's get into it. Austin Theory, I don't know. Again, he lost Vince. He lost everything. He hit rock bottom. He literally was spiraling downward. And, like, the fact is Roman literally took advantage of that and said... What he said, I'm your dad, Alyssa.
I'll be your daddy.
And,
Daddy ain't here.
And I think, and here's my thing, but let's say it, Roman, in my opinion, did what a good heel does. He fueled this man right here.
And then Rollins was the final piece. So.
And 2 of the 3 Shield members, yes. And then Braun channeling his energy for that. I am so proud of you. I really am.
The fact is, I mean, these are 5 people who, again, were not the names they were Breaker may be the only one because he was technically holding the gold at the beginning of the year and held it for most of the year. But we talk about the evolution that he came with and the idea that he went from a guy who was champion, but like Ciampa said at the time, you haven't gone into that deep water. Can you carry a locker room? Can you carry the people that are running with you? And he has against all competition. Theory, going from the highest of the highs, winning, the last thing, Selfie King, winning the United States title when he wasn't even supposed to be in the match, winning Money in the Bank. Then losing his cash in, hitting rock bottom, and now here he comes back again with this newfound look that says, I will get nose to nose with anyone. Liv Morgan, cash in. We spoke about her, Wesley's evolution, and then the sky's the limit for Dominic Mysterio right now. It's going to be a very big year coming up for him in terms of what are they going to do with him.
Honestly, I think the whole storyline going up against his father, showing up at different family functions and events and holidays, I think for me that is interesting to me. Now I hate it for Ray, but they're sending Dominic and Rhea in the best direction. And at first I felt like, oh my God, this is annoying. I don't want to see this.
I want to see the date that Rhea and Dominic go on for Valentine's Day.
I think that's gonna be interesting.
We've seen it before, but I want to see it with them. That'd be great.
Will Angie and Aaliyah try to show up and try to intervene or anything like that?
I think you've done 2 holidays where you showed up and intervened at our house. Now we're gonna do it to you.
Also, I know we don't talk much about with dirt sheets and whatnot. Let me end with this. Remember who Rhea's dating in real life, and also remember who that person she's dating in real life had a storyline with not so long ago. Used to be called Buddy Murphy, who is now dating Rhea in real life, but had a storyline with Aaliyah Mysterio. How about putting Rhea and Aaliyah back in a storyline again and see how that manages now that her brother's involved?
But
I want to see it.
But you also know a sister will go to blows for her brother. I know I would. I know you would go to blow for Abby, and I know you would go to blow for Casey. So I would love to see that storyline.
Shout out to the siblings.
Woo woo! Even if you're annoying.
Breakout star of the year. They all had great years, but only one can win.
Who did
everyone
who is it?
Austin Theory.
Yes! Woo! A-Town down. Yes, sir. Good job, Theory.
Smell looks great.
He looks beautiful.
That beard has done you wonders.
That's after Roman fueled him and he hit the gym and he came back. Hey, I picked Theory. Ooh.
My bad. I didn't mean to not pick you, but
But you know what?
But you're not against the choice.
Exactly. I'm so happy for you.
But the fact is, he's come back with this newfound, I'm going to do what I have to do for me, and honestly, can I say something?
No.
The moment he stopped taking them damn selfies, he literally hit the gym, got the facial hair, got the jacket, showed them legs, and that cute little tushy.
No one puts you on a bigger emotional roller coaster over the course of 2022 than Austin Theory. The highest of the highs, and you couldn't stand the heifer.
Oh.
And then he crashed, and everyone jawed at him and loved it. And now they're watching as he starts being successful again. And there's nothing more you hate than a hater telling you, I told you so. Here I am again.
In your face.
Still couldn't keep me down.
I'm making you eat your words. I literally hated him with a passion, and then I was sad for him after he lost Vince, because that's the end. He's on his way out.
But you look at what it is, and and you see 2 votes for Wes Lee, and what a year he had. Breaker's Evolution getting voted on by Alyssa. The Otra's going with Liv Morgan along with Paige. All had great years, but Theory just that one piece that's slightly above the rest because what a roller coaster he put us on. Fantastic year. Congratulations, Austin.
Yes,
getting
sir.
That. And
Keep it going.
Hey, you got your first name back at some point. You lost your name and then you found it.
Wait, what?
Remember, he was just Theory for a little while.
Yeah.
What?
They brought the name back and
he got his name back.
Yes,
Stella got his groove. He got his name.
I swear to God.
There you go.
Stephen, give me 5 for that. Yes, sir. Blackness confirmed.
Gracious. But that brings us to our last votes of the year of the show. We're up to. We've had fun. We've had our laughs, our chuckles. But now it's brass tacks time. It's time for the main roster female and male superstars of the year, and then voting for the overall.
Wait, stop for a second. Look where.
Well, we can't. We got 5 minutes.
Look where you're sitting, and look where I'm sitting.
I know.
And look where you were sitting when Roman was over.
Oh, I'm already knowing. Come on now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, we already knew.
But
Relevancy.
looking at again, just like with NXT, you had to spend at least 7 months out of the year on the main roster. All of these women spent all 12 months on the main roster, so no worries in terms of the women's division. But, I mean, again, this was another one that you could literally roll out the entire damn roster and could have a lot of names. Whittling this down to 5 was tough. But ultimately, this is who we ended up with. You ended up with the man, Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, the SmackDown Women's Champion down the end in Ronda Rousey, Rhea Ripley, what an evolution year she had.
She really did.
And then, of course, for multiple times, we've spoken at great lengths on the show about Liv Morgan and what all she has been able to accomplish this year and the great run she had during the summer. I mean, these women captivated the entire, not just women's division, but just WWE in general. Look at the wars that some of them had with each other.
And you have to think, Rhea and Liv were a tag team for a little bit, and then they split.
That's true.
But
I completely forgot about that.
But you have to think, what was everybody saying about Liv? You're holding me back. Natalia said it. Rhea said it. There was a couple other people in the locker room that said it. And what she do? Hater. I'm about to show you. Watch me.
There's nothing worse than you can tell someone is you can't do it. Kia, you are living proof of that. That just tell me I can't do it, and watch me go.
Yes.
And then we talked earlier, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, the wars they had in the late spring into the early summer prior to Becky's injury. Bianca carrying the Raw Women's division for virtually the entire damn year. By the way, they're your 2 Raw Women's champions for the entire year. Becky had the title. Bianca won it at Mania and is still holding it today. She'll end the year with it. Those are your Raw Women's champions for the entire year.
But here's my thing with that. Outside of Liv and Rhea tagging together, once the match was done with Bianca and Becky, you mess with Bianca's hair enough, Bianca turned the tables on you and cut all your little hair off. That should have been an oh wow moment that we all forgot. I am so disrespectful for that. I am sorry. But
and then with respects, you can't discount Ronda Rousey either.
No.
She came back as a surprise, won the Royal Rumble, challenged and lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Where is she?
Ultimately, hopefully back soon.
Soon.
Apparently, SmackDown needs her.
We asked about you, girl. We asked you to come back,
you know,
Queen.
and then came back, won the title twice during the year, beating Charlotte, lost it to Liv on cash in, then won it back. You know, and has turned back into the fighting badass that we've done. You can't win the Royal Rumble, main event WrestleMania, and also win the championship twice and not be in the running for this.
Right. I'm just saying, all these ladies had an exceptionally good year. You can't say nothing bad, including Ron. You can't say nothing bad about none of them. They literally came, they gave their all, they did what they needed to do, and look at where they are now with all their evolution, all their transformation, all the transitions they had to go through.
And you look at the NXT women's division we showed with all those great names up there. Oh my Lord! I mean, you're not just looking at the present. I mean, you got the future breathing right down your neck.
Yes.
People like Indy, Alba, you know, Toxic Attraction. I mean, they're not far away, and this is gonna be. I mean, it's one of those things that I look at the 5 that are on here. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's the same 5 next year, you know. But I also wouldn't be shocked if it's 5 entirely different people next year.
Or it's all
like
mixed up.
That's how stacked the women's division is in WWE right now.
You remember when it wasn't like that?
That's not that long ago.
First of all, you have to think the women were the bathroom breaks. So to all the ladies, NXT, UK, everybody across the board, thank you for doing you and pushing and letting your voices be heard. We said it. You know, it's just, I don't know what more you can say for the ladies. They are literally lighting it up.
Because, I mean, Alyssa, we've spoken, you know, off camera, you know, recently about you watching back when The Undertaker and when Kane were there. What were the women doing back then? They were in bra and panties matches, mud wrestling matches, and they got maybe one match that was, 3-4 minutes? And that's it. And that was with some Hall of Fame legends on there.
And then a lot of it was they were valeting, and that wasn't really working.
So, I mean, they've put this back on the map, and this right here tells you, I mean, just how good this division is. I mean, it took me a while to put my vote in on this one. I don't know necessarily about everyone else, but it took me a minute to really choose this one. But, you know, I mean, brass tacks had to decide this one. And now time's up, so let's find out who wins it. The WWE main roster female superstar of the year is Bianca Belair.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like I need to do the Academy Award commentary. This is Bianca Belair's 2nd career OTRA Award. And how about that unanimous?
Yes, ma'am.
So to actually ask the question, I'm going to start with you, Alyssa. What was it like meeting her? I mean, I know for what it was for us, but this is your this was your first meet and greet,
Yeah, that was my first meet and greet. She was great. I loved her.
And what did you walk away with?
Oh yeah, I got her standee.
Signed.
Signed standee.
Woo! Wonderful.
The fact is, I mean, I don't think you can argue much on this one. First of all, I'm convinced that woman does not sleep. Because you look at everything she does. I mean, she never misses an event. She makes her own gear. Like, where are you finding the time for this? Fresh gear every week.
But here's the thing.
She never comes out in the same outfit twice.
But who gave it to her best? Kevin Owens said, this woman is on the road between shows making outfits. How does she do it? Where is she getting the sleep from? So for Kevin Owens to say that, for me, I feel like that's high praise. It came from all the audience.
And another person that, once again, you never, I mean, really all 5 women, but Bianca especially, you never hear a bad thing about her. No, if you hate this woman, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, it's you.
Plain and simple, you're the problem if you do not like Bianca Belair, or you're something else that we're not going to talk about on here, because again, this is a family show.
But wasn't she not only wrestling, but didn't she do some competition outside of wrestling where she sculpted her body?
Yeah, she did a body sculpting competition. It's like that woman was already jacked, and then she went 10 days, and look at what, she made herself even stronger.
Yeah. And she's got awesome back muscles.
She's the EST for a reason, and here she is right here, the EST.
Yes, ma'am.
And to win unanimously against that group of women?
That's a stack.
That is absolutely a stacked division, so I can't wait to see if she takes the overall too. But let's move to the men's Superstar of the Year. And again, just as jacked of a field as the women's division. You've got 5 people that absolutely captivated the WWE main roster. Everyone was on the roster for, all 12 months except for Cody, 9 months for him.
Hey, 3 months short. It's okay.
But the fact is, I mean, you're looking at multiple championship reigns. You're looking at multiple titles, multiple main events, a lot of them against each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So the reality is, I mean, you can look directly across the board, and I mean, everybody faced everybody at some stage
They really did.
during all of this. The trifecta with Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. Roman Reigns faced everyone in this thing except Cody, and that's probably forthcoming.
I'm excited.
Lashley and Drew had matches against each other. Roman
and Drew.
Main eventing. Seth main eventing. Cody's great matches with Rollins. Granted, his injury kind of shortened his time, but he made sure he showed up and showed out when he did. Drew main eventing in Cardiff, as well as everywhere else, and the great storylines he got to have with Sheamus throughout the summer.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like these 5 right here, and there's nothing against the rest of the roster, so please don't come for my life. These 5 right here, I feel like they carried the year great. You got the Visionary. You got the Tribal
The Revolutionary.
Chief, you got the American Nightmare. You got the American Warrior, which I call Lashley, and then you've got Drew McIntyre, who don't have nothing strapped to his legs.
Not rockets.
No rockets.
Supersonic rockets.
Go ahead and say it, Steve.
Strapped to my legs.
There you go.
Please don't sue us, Cricket. We actually have you for phone service. Please don't sue us.
Yeah, don't.
Lashley was the WWE champion. Beat Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
Granted with Heyman's turn, but was the WWE champion at, and was, with the exception of Brock, the last WWE champion before Roman took both belts. And then, as I said, I mean, they had a stat, and I just want to spit this out here, and then I'm going to let Alyssa take the wheel here. Seth Rollins had the most losses of anyone on the main roster, yet he won Superstar of the Year by Fox's vote with WWE.
Do you know why?
Like, you don't get to lose that many matches and still be that good unless you are just the best out there.
And guess what? He's the visionary, the architect.
The revolutionary.
The revolutionary. He was the Messiah. So you have to think, he literally, when you need someone to put you over, who are you calling? You're calling Seth.
Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins. So,
Alyssa, please.
Go ahead.
I feel like, honestly, he deserves his reward for always putting everybody over for the last year. Alyssa?
When I look at this, I'm just, and I'm looking behind, because I'm just
First of all, she
looking
said
at all
so
of
much
them.
pyro across the entire board. So
first
many
of all,
fireworks.
I'm jumping out of my chair. Like, all of them have pyro. I guess if I had to sit through one of them, I'm going with Seth because it's only one pop at the beginning. But
no, that was a lie. You sat through Roman's and like this girl.
child, I turned into a whole new person when Roman come out. I don't even need to do this
She
anymore.
turns
This
into a
man comes
puddle
out.
is what she turns into.
Shut your mouth.
The seat.
And do that.
Thoughts on your thoughts on
Go
the
ahead.
three,
I'm
though.
sorry. Go ahead.
But no, in all seriousness, like looking at all 5 of them, I'm still trying to figure out how I picked. Like,
You thought the women's was hard?
there was so much talent.
Yeah.
Like,
Another one
Never
of
a
those
dull
were another one of those. I mean, you can roll out a list, and I mean, and there are names. Brock Lesnar. I mean,
Wow.
didn't make this list. You're trying to whittle this down to 5. Gunther didn't make this list.
Wow.
yeah.
You look at some of the names. I mean, there are so many great names that didn't find their way on here because you had to whittle this down to 5. That was hard, and then to try to choose between these 5. And again, it's just like in the women with a minute to go. I wouldn't be shocked if next year it's the same 5 again.
Or 5.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's a new 5 because the future is not that far away. You've got people like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, even Grayson Waller, is down there, and I mean they're main roster ready. And then you've got people that are sitting in that thing. Austin Theory's not on this list.
He really isn't.
He's got main champion written all over him. Ray and Dominic Mysterio, neither one of them can be found on this list. Dominic could be on the brink. You don't know where that's sitting. There's no Edge. There's no Damian Priest. There's no Finn Balor on this list. No member of Judgment
Styles.
Day is on this list. No AJ Styles. No Omos.
Boy, feel-
This roster is stacked.
Okay. I got.
So, speedy recovery, by the way, to Styles if he did get hurt at that house show. So, hopefully he does well. This was another tough one to vote for. I mean, it's tough, but, hey, it's brass tacks time, and it's time to announce the OTRA Award for the main roster male superstar of the year goes to Roman Reigns.
Yes. My dog.
My dog.
My dog. Y'all know I love him so
And
much.
it's again, I don't think any of these 5, I don't think anyone would necessarily object to. And when you end up looking at, the final voting, which is right here, I mean, it was pretty straightforward across the board, and I was even surprised to see, Kia's vote going with Roman because I really thought you were going to go with Seth Rollins, but you did pick Roman Reigns.
I know. I was kind of shocked by that too.
But you look at,
I think I had an out of body experience. That's what that was.
But you look at Warren and Paige going with Rollins. I'm not against the pick.
I'm not either.
Because he had a heck of a year, despite the fact that he was pushing for exactly what it is that you wanted to do. And the fact is, he spent this entire year making everyone else around him better without putting his own self down. He had one premium live event, 2, I guess. He technically beat Roman at Royal Rumble by disqualification, and then I think he beat Riddle, but then he lost the rematch. He put Cody over. He was the person designated to do that, and he did with flying colors. And then he's put Austin Theory out there and has put him over with flying colors, while also helping to rebuild up Bobby Lashley now without MVP. But he's made him look dangerous by, and call it what it is, Theory kind of being right place, right time, but still, what a year he had.
Let's go back real quick. He put Riddle out in more than one way, and Seth, I love you, but what you did was disrespectful and dirty. And as much as I love you, you could have kind of kept that off the record. That should have been another oh wow moment.
How that didn't make the oh wow list, that was one where it was just like we kind of looked at each other like
oh damn.
I think we dropped the ball.
I think we
really
may
did.
have left that one off. But of course, so congrats to Roman. I mean, you hold both titles all year. You win every main event there is. I mean, it's hard not to argue this one.
And you look good doing it.
So that moves us to the final OTRA Award. Everyone that's joined us for this, thank you so much. One award to go. Just a quick 3-minute clock, and it is to decide the overall Bianca Belair versus Roman Reigns. A minute each. This is going to be tough. Yes, we see the T-shirts, Bianca and Roman. But, I mean, the reality is, Bianca winning the women's award unanimously. Roman taking 6 out of 8 in the men's. I think it's pretty clear cut. These were your 2 dominant people of the WWE this calendar year. You know, with everything that was put in front of them, all the main challenges put in front of them, they dominated this year. They're holding all the gold. You know, it's tough to argue that these two didn't take on every adverse challenge, every main event that they were placed in, and they showed up and showed out.
I want to go back to where women was fighting men and men were fighting women, and it was just
Bring that back, please.
Because I would love to see the EST go up against the Tribal Chief. I'm not gonna lie to you, that would be awesome. Not saying anything, but that would be awesome.
I'm sure you
for
can
me.
do that in 2K now, so you know.
I'm not talking. I'm not video games, but just in reality, I think that'd be great. I feel like she would push Roman to his limits. Honestly.
Well, also you see, I mean, we're well aware of her speed, her strength. I mean, we watched her body press Otis a couple of months ago, or you know, in the middle during the Thunderdome era, excuse me. You know, and then you can't argue what Roman's done this year. Every time he goes out, you know, he commands a presence. Bianca immediately has you out of your seats. How many times have we danced to her theme already tonight? And we might get to dance one more time. We'll see here in about a minute and a half. Alyssa, your thoughts on both of them. We know your thoughts on Roman.
Y'all know my thoughts on Roman.
Your thoughts on just the overall year, just with the two.
These two single-handedly have kept me interested in wrestling. I mean, everybody else is a bonus, but I'm telling you, I am scared out of my mind whenever we go see these events. These two right here, single-handedly. And it's not even close. Like, I talk about emotion. I talk about all that stuff. I do not get a bigger smile than when I see this woman. And
Roman speaks for itself.
He really does. What do you do if you ever met this man in person? What you gonna do? And please don't say she's gonna be out on the floor like that man from like the.
Not to be dramatic,
No.
But I'm going.
I'm not gonna say it. But yeah,
we got enough copyrights against us.
got enough copyright. But yeah, just know I'll probably be on the floor or I'll be trying to sniff him. Ain't no in between.
I would.
And it's, you know, and just last 20 seconds, we'll throw my last thought in here. You know, it doesn't matter where they fall on the card. You put them on a premium live event. They can open the show.
They can close
the show.
They can be in the middle
They're
of the show.
going to make it a main event when they get in that ring. Both of them are. They demand nothing but the best, and they are what they are. But there can only be one. Our final OTRA Award and what we consider the end-all, be-all, the championship trophy, the championship belt, if you will, the OTRA Award for the overall Superstar of the Year goes to Bianca Belair.
Yes, ma'am. Love it. Yes. I ain't really lived before. I never needed you at all.
Down, I'ma watch you fall down.
I never needed you at all. Love it. Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know I love this man, but
Get it, man. EST, and she really is the EST, and this proved it right here, even in our eyes. Yes.
You know, and honestly, again, this is another one of those where I don't think you're going to be upset by the choice, but you could say pretty evenly split. I'll tell you right now, though, the one I'm going to just mention, the OTRAs, I mean, heavy Bianca on this one. Like, I was very surprised at how easily Bianca won this one, because everything that Roman's done, the one negative you can put on Roman is the fact that he has still kind of that part-time status. He's not there.
Yeah.
Bianca is there every week, showing up and showing out. She looks great while she does it, but she's a 52-weeker. And the reality is, I think that might have been what put her over the top with a lot of our voters. Yes, I voted for Roman, but I mean, that was one of those where, I mean, like, you could flip a coin and I don't think I would have been upset with either choice.
honestly.
But, you know, a well-deserved victory for Bianca Belair. And, hey, I mean, the first OTRA Award for the overall, I mean, and it goes to a woman nonetheless.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and, I mean, call every other accolade. She calls herself the EST, but, I mean, that's not a moniker. That's a lifestyle for her.
It really is.
But
Yes.
I had a blast with this. I'm not going to lie. This was fun. I enjoyed every second of it. One more shout out to Kelly Smith for the last, you know, for the logo and everything else. And thank you to our wonderful panel. This is we yeah, we get a little bit of money now for everything that we do, but it's so much fun to get to do this and give something back to the community and to the universe that's given us so much fun through all of this. And this is something that I enjoy doing, and hopefully this will be something that we continue on throughout, the next couple of years. So congrats to all of our winners. We'll put some posts out, and of course we can go back and watch this at any time, see how it looks next year. Who was here last year. We'll put a little note in there, who won it last year and where are they now, in comparison. But wrapping things up, because hey, John Cena returns tonight.
Y'all know I'm hyped for that.
And we promised you we'd get you there. So Kia, final thoughts this 2022 year.
For just wrestling over
whatever.
For wrestling, for us, I feel like this is what kept us going. This show, every time we had to get on air, do a show, the editing, the fact that I have someone I can cut up with, and yes, I'm talking about you, Alyssa. I love you, Steven, but
I got you.
It is what it is, and I thank you. I thank y'all both for making this something fun that we do literally on a day-to-day basis. And for you, to the Ultras, to our universe, thank you for riding with us, staying with us. You've seen us through since day one, and yes, I put it out there. Alyssa, any last words for our crowd, for us, for you?
Well, it's been a blast. I know we've ridden together a lot.
Vroom, vroom, get in the same car.
Vroom, vroom,
Blue blur, baby.
Exactly. Also, thank y'all, of course, for incorporating me this year.
You're welcome.
First full year completed.
Yes. It's been very interesting. This has been one of those things that's brought me out of my shell a little bit because, contrary to popular belief, I am a little shy. So.
Huh? Really?
Don't even. Yes.
But
yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback on what Kia said. We've left no mystery. This has been, a very rough year as our family, personally. You saw a lot of times we were doing shows from hotels, and I had to do voiceover ones because we didn't have all of our equipment because we were dislocated from our home. Kia, I think you hit it. I think you nailed it. This is what kept us going 3, 4, 5 nights out of the week, where it was just like, it's a chance to just break away for just a couple of hours to think about something else.
Let me give it to Alyssa one more time. She's been doing this for a year, and to watch her literally tell me, like, you have to think, for the times I could not see Raw, SmackDown, NXT, you kind of sat in for me, and the fact that she stat for stat, and I was watching her go toe to toe with you, and some things you would forget. She's like, no, this is what happened.
No.
You look at the scoreboard for this year.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
we're
exactly
not done yet,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you're hanging right with us.
And I'm proud of you for actually getting into it and being able to literally go toe to toe with Steven. That's not no easy feat for nobody. No offense, Steven.
But that's fine. But for everything you guys have done for 2022,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Hopefully everyone had a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and a happy New Year and a start to 2023. First show is probably going to be a plate exchange. We got some ones that need to get updated, so be looking out for that. And also, I think the ladies are in the works of creating something for themselves, so perhaps some news forthcoming on that. So be ready.
I can tell you for a fact, Questions with the Queen or Quality Time with the Queen is coming back. I have
Queens? Maybe?
Queens. Also, do our own separate show where, like, we talk about wrestling and we cut up and we have our fun and we put everything out
Maybe
there.
That's where TikTok comes in. We'll see.
Because you have 2 personalities, 2 women personalities. We're not going to go into that any further because I want to be able to do this again next year.
But we love all of y'all. Thank you so much. The joy and the support you give us has been phenomenal this year. We can't thank y'all enough for keeping us going through all of this. So thank you so much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Please put your comments in there. If you liked it, what can we do better? Besides get better lighting. It is what it is. But hey, let's get to SmackDown, y'all, okay? Final one of the year. Cena's back.
Woo!
Let's do this. So
thank
y'all.
Subscribe, put the bell ding on, do what you gotta do. Follow us on every form of social media. That'd be great. We love you. Have a good night. Watch SmackDown.
Bye.
Love y'all. Peace.